Welcome to Marketing Cloud Interaction Studio Bootcamp Session 4. Today, our speakers are Abhishek Parekh, who's a practice lead in Marketing Cloud. And then along with him, we have Yashas Saxena. He is a senior Salesforce developer and will be here at Jaipur Marketers Group today. First of all, we would like to thank you, all of you, to take out this time on Friday, or busy Friday. We know a lot of project work is getting wrapped up on Friday. So we appreciate that you have taken out this time, and we are dedicating this time in our learning. So thank you so much for that. A little introduction to the group. So the name of the group is Salesforce Marketer Group, Marketing Cloud Jaipur, India. As of now, me and Anil are co-leading this group. You can reach out to us on Twitter with our handle @Jaipur Marketers, and you can find us on LinkedIn and YouTube with the name of Salesforce Jaipur Marketers. So the way it works is all the event information, and we do run some quiz, some activities before all the sessions. So those informations are published on our Twitter and LinkedIn account. And after every session, within 24 hours, we publish the session recording on YouTube channel. So we request all of you to please follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, so that you are always top on all the content and information which we are publishing. Now, the mission of the group is, so there are two parts. One is develop local talent, and then again in develop local talent, we have two folds to it. The first is we always prefer to have our speakers from the local community. So most of these sessions you will see the speakers are from Jaipur, Rajasthan, or India. And the way the envision is, we always help our speakers to select a topic, prepare the content, and work on their presenter skills. So if any one of you wants to present any session, please reach out to me and Anil, and we'll help you to get all set so that you can have your presentation and skills, communication skills, and documentation skills get sharpened up. Then on the other hand, we have the attendees. So there is always a new thing to learn for all the attendees. So that's how on both the sides, we would like to have this local talent developed. Then the another side is digital sales. So we all know that because of this pandemic, all the business, even the medical industry, is going digital overnight. And in this era, all of us has to have the digital skills. So that's the mission we are having. Most of our sessions will be aligned on the digital skills capabilities of the Salesforce. A little introduction to Anil. So Anil is the group leader and founder of this group. You can reach out to Anil on his email ID, anil.pilani@trailblazerccl.com. He is also available on Twitter and LinkedIn. By these handles and path, you can reach out to him. This is me, Vikas Sharma. I'm co-leading this group with Anil right now. You can always reach out to me on my email ID, and then I'm available on Twitter and LinkedIn as well. Now, as I said, that we always have some quiz lead up to the session. So in this session also, we published a question which was like, which all recipes component will you configure for You May Also Like Content Zone on an e-commerce website, and why? And the answer was basically from the last session. So if you have attended the last session, or if you have gone through the recording, this was an easy question to answer. So we received quite a few entries, but we liked Megha Sharma's answer. She explained all the use cases of different components, how we can use them. So congratulations, Megha, for winning the Salesforce voucher. We hope that you're going to make a good use of it. Now, before we start the session, a little gentle warm-up nudge. So please pay attention to these sessions. We are investing time here. So the return of investment is in the form of learning. Twitter and social media and all those distractions can wait. There are two segments in the chat. One is chat and one is Q&A. So if you want to ask any question, please drop it in the Q&A section. We'll be able to manage it there properly. Then, as I said, all the sessions recording will be available on our YouTube channel, Salesforce Jaipur Marketers. It usually takes around 24 hours to publish the recording over there. And the next point is, if you like to be a presenter on this group, please don't hesitate and reach out to me and Anil, and we'll help you to find a topic, prepare the content, and all the help you need, and we'll be there with you. Then if you want to win a certification voucher, so please do participate in all the quiz and activities we do And whenever we are asking a question, all we want is to, it's okay to read the answer from Salesforce documents or Google or anything, but let's put a little bit perspective or a business use case in there so that your answer highlights in all the entries we get. And then last is, not all the sessions have quizzes, but today we have a quiz, and then you can participate in that Kahoot quiz. And then there are 3 certification vouchers which are giving away today. So back to our session. As I said, it's the last in session 4 of the Marketing Cloud Interaction Studio Bootcamp. We will be wrapping up the Interaction Studio Bootcamp today, but nonetheless, all the recordings are available on our YouTube channel. You can always go back and refer those recordings at your pace. So let's dive into it. So Yashash, over to you.
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Go ahead.
So are you able to see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, so let's start. So hi all, myself Yasha Saxena. I am working as a senior consultant in horizontal. I have total experience of approximate 9 plus, you can say. And today we will discuss server side in Interaction Studio, server side campaigns in Interaction Studio. Yeah, let's go. So server side campaign in event and event API. So what are exactly events? So whenever you go to market to anything and you will purchase, so sometimes when you are purchasing, you are go to the billing section and you do the payment. So sometimes they say, hey sir, if you now do extra purchase and you can do something, you can get extra discounts. So how do they get exactly on the on fly, you can say? So that's our events. So whenever they do the billing, they do some events will fire in the Interaction Studio, and they will return some campaigns which will say some offers are there for you. It's absolutely for one-on-one personalization, not for the group personalization sometimes, but yeah, sometimes it's for also for the group personalization. So first, event API overview. So what is the event lifecycle? So whenever you go any you go any shop and you are going to anything purchase, so when you are going on the billing section, event will fire on that event uh, on the time of purchase, and that event will take some attributes like your user ID, your account information, your purchase information, and those information will go into the Interaction Studio. Then Interaction Studio will manipulate those things, and on the basis of the information, they will create one customized campaign for you if it is present. And those server side campaigns will be redirect to the seller that will give you a more offer, or you will get your offers on your personalized mobile number or in your email ID once you done your purchase. So this is the life cycle. Events start from here, then it will go to the backend where the all the calculation will done, and at the end a campaign will be written for you. So in this, we are creating a campaign template. We have already learned how to create a campaign template, but it's slightly different here in server side. Similarly, here we can create a server side campaign. It is slightly again different from the previous one. So we will run in this session that how we will create the event and how we will create the server side campaign and template similarly. Okay. Next one. Yeah. So server side campaign. So this is the response. Whenever any event will fire, the response will be come as a server side campaign. So server side campaign contains basically 4 attributes, 4 components, not attributes, 4 components. First is attribute. Second is segment membership. Third is records. Fourth is best offer action. So what is attributes? So when are you doing your purchase, you will give your email ID or mobile number. That's our attributes. On those attributes and your purchase order and what you have purchased. So those are attributes. Those are attributes will go on the backside to the interaction studio, or on the basis of that, some rule will be follow and some segments will be selected for you. Okay, you are qualified for this segment. On the basis of those segments, some records, some data will be fetched, and those will become as a offer for you. So okay, those are the campaigns and the offers which are coming for you for your last and the previous purchase, you can say. Okay, so this is the important thing. So whenever you are going to create any server side template and campaign, what happened, there are two channels. What channels you can select? There is one channel is channel web, there is another channel is a server channel. So what is the difference between these channel? By default, whenever you are going to create any web campaign, the channel is server. So what is mean that it will take the authentication request whenever any event is fired. So whenever any event is fired, there may be things are there. The authentication is required or the authentication is not required. The authentication is required means the HTTPS, we can say. So if the authentication required, it means the channel is the server. So when we are, so if our client is say that, hey, you can create such type of thing where the authentication is always required. So we will choose the channel as server. If the client says that no, we will require no authentication of any type of the events, so we will use web. So on the basis of the channels, the endpoints are different. So if the channel is web, the endpoint is slash event. If the channel is server, the endpoint is auth event. So this is the difference. The another difference is that in the channel web, we can pass, not we can only pass the ID attribute, we can pass other attributes also of the user, like the email address, location from where the purchase the uh, person has purchased those things. Whereas from the channel server, we just pass the ID of the user. We don't have to pass anything of that user because that ID is already saved in the Interaction Studio as a user, and that ID can be used to manage the location, all the things of that user. So that's the difference between the channel, the web channel and the server channel. Okay, I will show you all those things in our hands-on section. So it's a demo time. Let's do it. Yeah. So this is the Interaction Studio. You already know. So I have told you that whenever you whenever you create a web server side campaign, you will choose a channel, and those channel we can pass the ID. So if you go here, settings, and then on the general setup, if I scroll down, here you can see three things are here. Select the identity attribute to use as the web SDK identity. Means that whenever you are passing any data, any event from the web channel, what identity you will use to uh, manage in the Interaction Studio. So you can choose it from here. Anything you can choose. These are the IDs like email address, loyalty ID, that okay, the email address ID of that user which the event is fire, we can find that user with the help of email ID, email address in this Interaction Studio. Similarly, if you are using server side, you can choose here which email address you want to use, which ID you want to use to map that user in Interaction Studio. Okay, so you can choose from here. Once you done, you can make the save the changes. Okay, now we will create a server side campaign. Okay, So I have already created a server-side template. What you have to do, you just click on a new template. So whenever you click a new template, it will redirect here. Okay. And this server-side code. So what I have do here, I take the code directly from the global template. So on the last session, I have showed you the global templates. So from there, I take the server side code for that global template and I paste it here. You can write from the scratch. You can make the changes in this as per your requirement. Okay. I told that, okay, the number of project will show is only 4. These of the thing I have done here. The coding part I have done here. I make the changes as save and make it as publish. Okay, when I publish it, it is available for use in the server side campaign. I close it. Now go here. I'm making a server side campaign. So you can create your server side campaign by clicking here new campaign, or I have already created, so I will show you that one when I click it here. So when I'm clicking here, the first thing is what type of testing you are choosing, the A/B testing and the rule-based testing. We have already discussed these type of thing in our previous session. I am taking the rule-based testing here and I'm choosing the channel. So you see here, I am choosing the server channel, which means whenever any event is passed, I want the authentication is required for that user. Without the authentication, no event will be taken in the interaction studio. So I choose the server. Okay. Similarly, then I choose the experience, that what uh, event we will take. So I take that any action coming like with this name, Yashas calls call center, you can include, and for that you can do the product recommendation. Okay, I choose this recipe. So whenever any recipe with the name of Yashas call center will be fire, the response of the campaigns basis on this recipe names collab filtering, which is already told you in the previous session. So I made it, I published it. Okay, I will close for right now. Okay, I will show you the event fire, but before, okay, let me open Postman. So what we are doing, we have choose the Postman for the event fire. So here, if you see, I choose the post as the action. This is the you can say the URL and the thing, or the which tells me which server you are working on. This is my the server location. This is the information which I taken from my the interaction studio. I pasted it here. Then for the authorization, I put the username and password. So this username and password where we got, I again go on the interaction studio and identity type. No, sorry. API token from the security API token. When I click here, create token, and I check this one. And when I click it OK, it gives me the access token API key and the password for that. It gives a download file which you can download, and when you will open, you will get the key and the password. So that key I provided here and the password I have provided here. Once I have done all those things, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an event. So in this event, I'm passing an ID here. Okay. And this is not related, this is a simple event. This is not related to a web campaign. This is not related to a server side campaign or server side template. This is a simple example of an event. So I'm just passing an event. I'm just saying, hey, I'm going to purchase a thing. I'm providing some order ID. Okay. This is my order ID. I'm going to purchase these two things with this value. So when I click it send, so it's sending a request and it say that, yeah, you have done your your event is fired. So how now we will check that it is done or not? We will go here in the report section. In the event stream, you can see here 41 seconds ago, their event is fired. See, the action name is purchase. Similarly, this action name. So it is saying that you have fired an event, something like this. Okay. When I go on the user, so sometimes it's take 1 to 2 minutes to show the your things here. If you see 47 seconds ago, you have done the thing. So it will take 2 to 3 minutes to reflect the purchases here. And once it's reflect, so your the amount will be updated, whatever you have done the purchase, and the event will show the things which you have purchased here, the orders. So it sometimes takes 2 to 3 minutes or more to reflect it here. I can try it's reflecting or not. We can try 1 second. I have just refreshed the Interaction Studio again. Uh, let's try. We have gone here, all user. We are seeing the details. So if you see, the amount is updated and the purchase on 12:21 p.m. 2 minutes back, we have done this purchase. So this is the thing, the event we have checked that, yeah, whenever we were firing any event from the postman or any outside the thing, it's coming in the Interaction Studio and it's saving the data, and on the basis of the data, it will taking some action. So now we will check for the server side campaign. So as I've told you that I've already created a server side campaign. I'm saying that whenever a server side, whenever event fire from this name, from this action, you can show some recommendation basis on this recipe. So what I'm going to do, I am going create another postman call. I have put the name action. I have told that, hey, my channel is server, my ID is this. So in the channel, as I told you that no attributes we will have to pass. So just we are passing the ID, we are passing the channel name, we are passing the action. When I click it here, so you can see some response have come. Okay, it's giving me, it's run the on the basis of my things. It is returning the campaign, which is showing me 4 records, as I have told there that I want only 4 data as my response. So that's records are here. So on the basis of more detail, we can pass more detail here like the account, orders, and on the basis of that, the campaign will calculate and return the response it's here. Okay. So this is server-side campaign and server-side template. I will show you one more thing here. Give me a second. So this is a different example of a server-side campaign. In this server-side campaign, I have no choose the channel here on the campaign side. I have choose the channel on the basis of experience. So on a single campaign, I am choose 2 channels, channel server and channel web. And on the basis of those, I can choose my templates, I can choose my response, I can choose the different properties. So you can create a single campaign for both the channel server and channel web. So it may be a simple example that a person is going to purchase from their mobile, from the shop, from the website, and through different channels, the different responses will be returned. the different, if you they are using a camp app, you can return different offers. If they are going to purchase on the shops, you can return different offer. So on a this single campaign you can do all the things. Okay, so this is an example of server side campaign and server side templates. Now we will back to our
So before that,
presentation.
yes, yes, there are a couple of questions from Vivek.
Yeah.
Do you want to, on server side campaign? Do you want to take them now?
Okay.
So, Yashash, the first question is why we are passing the custom event for purchase.
Custom event.
Yeah.
Are you seeing the channel? Why we are passing custom event for purchase? So we are not passing any custom event. It's just an example. What we have, I have shown you is just an example that whenever you are going to purchase anything, you can from there you can pass a JSON file. That's the event, and that event will go into the interaction studio. That's event coming from any site, from any channel. It may be from the shop, it may be from the web, it may be from the app, it from any channel, it will come here. So it's just an example from the event. And this custom event where we are not using the any campaign is just an example for checking that our interaction studio is working or not for the event. Maybe you get your answer, or no, you can again post it. Each site has to fire events separately to record in interaction studio. So yeah, each sites, yeah. So if you are go on the shop, you are you are submitting your giving your email ID and mobile number. So on the basis of your purchase and maybe on the basis of your location, different events will be written, different campaign. So for each event or each purchase, there will be a separate event will be fire. Okay, I think you will get both the answer. If no, let me know again.
Thanks, Yashash.
Yeah. So what we have seen right now, just we are doing the things in the interaction studio. Now we interaction studio give us more things that you can connect those interaction studio with our Salesforce with the connector. So this connector is available in App Exchange. Where we will go, we can download and install the App Exchange package. So now what happens whenever any things are doing in the interaction studio, the Salesforce will get those the thing in a sale and service cloud. I will give you a more example so you will understand what I'm saying. So suppose a person has gone on a site, they are browsing much of the things, and for some of the things they are going to purchase a laptop. Now they want to know more things, so they click on the call center, that hey call center, can you please call me, so I want more information regarding this laptop. So what happened, there will be a two scenarios. So if interaction studio is not implemented there, what happened when the call center will call there, the customer needs to provide all the things, all the likes, no likes to the call center. And then on the basis of this their requirement, on the basis of the interest, the call center person will reply that customer. But if the if the client has using the, we can say, the interaction studio, what happen in those case, those all information are directly provided to the Salesforce, and the customer care employee or the person can those information directly from the Salesforce, and asking to the user what's your likes, what your don'ts like, and on the basis of the browsing history, the care person can easily give the response to the user and personalize those things on the basis of those things. So before the installation process, what we have to do, we have to create a server-side campaigns. We have to do configure API token. Then we have to install the manage package. Then we have to provide the name credential into our Salesforce. And then we add to the components to the context or the lead component or the records in our Salesforce. So I will show you a demo on this one. So you will get a proper idea. So, okay, you can see here. So here we have created a server-side campaign. Okay, I'm saying a record. The action name is record. So whenever a user do some browsing history or do some browsing on a site, on the basis of their browsing, a campaign will be written here basis on this server-side campaign. When I click manage setting, and I go the promoted, I say the recommendation. I am saying that I am choosing this recipe. So on this recipe, you can recommend the item 1 or 4, which help the call center employee to recommend those things on the basis of this recipe. And this recipe is generated on the basis of the user browsing. So when the user done the browsing, they will call the call center. The call center employee basis on this campaign result, they will give more personalization to that user. So we have done here, we have making some decision here. Okay, when I clicked okay and I created my server side campaign, I save it and publish it. When I've done these type of thing here, what I have do next thing, I can again um, create new API token from here, which I have already told you. When all these things done, then we will go to the app exchange and we will install our package. So I have already installed the package in my org. So if I searching C, Interaction Studio connector for sales and service cloud package is already installed here. Okay, I have done already this thing. Then the fourth step is to create the name credentials. So from the sales setup, I have created the name credentials for this one. I have passed the username and the key here, and I generate the authentication header and the password authentication protocol I have chosen. When I have done all those things, I can choose contact or lead, anything. Right now I have choose the contact page. I have added the contact record page and I have added new tab here. Okay. By clicking here, I have given name Interaction Studio. And in this tab, I have added this next based product. So here you can choose next based product, next based promotion action. You can just put it here, something like this. Okay. So when you choose next based product, you can see data qualified. So this RECS is the same name which we have given our server side campaign name. So this name and that name, both our name is similar. I can give any action name here. I choose the channel server because there is authentication is required, which we have already done in our name credential. And this is the thing what you want to show, the remove image. If you don't want to see the images, if you don't want to see this detail button, you can do all the manipulation from here. Once you will do or make the changes here, you can just make the changes, save and do the activation. When you will do here, so now your call center person will have the information like this, that okay, this person like t-shirts, this slippers, this hoodie, and on the basis of this, the call center person give you a good recommendation. Okay sir, you will go here and you can choose this offer, it will give you more offer, more benefit as per your personalization, as per your browsing history. Okay, so this is the sales and servers connector, which is provided by the Salesforce and the Interaction Studio, which help the call centers and you to give more offers on fly. Okay, so this is from my side, all the server side campaign and the Salesforce connector. So the next thing will be provided by Abhishek. So Abhishek, you can start. And if you
Thanks.
have any question related to this, please ping. I will let you know.
Thanks, Yashash. Okay.
Is my screen visible?
Yep, Abhishek, we can see the presentation.
Perfect. So thank you, Yashas, for walking us through server-side campaigns and CRM connector. I'll be talking about three more areas today before we conclude our bootcamp. So those items are open time email personalization. Then we'll switch to reporting capabilities within Interaction Studio, and the last part would be discovery. And why I wanted to keep discovery towards the end, because now you have a fairly good grasp on the concepts of Interaction Studio. So with that, let's get into open time email personalization. So with open time email personalization, brands can deliver personalized promotions, content, and recommendations in their email contents with up to the moment accuracy. And what that means is, to understand that, let's assume that our group leaders Anil and Vikas are cycling enthusiasts and are returning customers on the NTO website, which we keep referring to. Now, because personalization occurs at the instant when email is opened rather than when it was sent, the content and recommendations sorry, content and recommendations which factor in Vikas and Anil's latest actions, like what kind of activities they did. And we can take an example to explain that. That suppose Vikas and Anil both got an email in the morning. Now Anil is busy; he's working on his usual stuff, and Vikas needs to buy some cycling accessories. They both haven't opened the email yet. Vikas goes to the website, browses through that, and make certain purchase action. He purchases maybe an helmet, or maybe another accessory, a bottle which he wants to tie, or a holder on cycle. So what happens when now Vikas and Anil both open that email after few hours, that Anil gets the recommendations based on his previous ec- his historical data he browsed through or behaved on that particular website. But for Vikas, that data will get updated even that email was sent before Vikas browsed through those items or made that purchase. But even now, uh, that whole recommendation will change in the email for Vikas. So that's really powerful. Like it takes everything in the account in real time and shows you recommendations when you open an email rather than when a marketer sent an email. And how it can be done, you must be wondering that how we can do that. So it is pretty simple. What you need to do is, or what a marketer needs to do it is, that they need to design their campaigns in Interaction Studio and select the rules or algorithms to power that recommendation in the campaign. Then they just simply need to cut and paste the resulting HTML block in their existing marketing automation system email templates, and that's all you need to do. You're all set to go. And there are two ways through which these open time emails can be applied. One is using promotions and actions, and these are more static, because what happens is these content blocks are rendered if Vikas or Anil or anybody from that segment qualifies for the checklist of the predefined promotion. uh, Open time email templates is the second way of doing it, and through that, the recommendations for the content are made or delivered by using Einstein recipes. So with that, I'll quickly, yeah, walk you through the entire process. And I have already created one open time email or campaigns, but still I want to just show how it is done. So I'm going to clone almost everything. So if you look at it, I have already created this email product template. What and how we do it, we just simply need to click on this new item template. You need to give it a name. So I'll give it a name, that demo. We want to select the item type. So here I'll select the item type as product. If you want to change the dimensions, which I'll be doing here, you can do that real quickly. 100 by 300 pixels, and you should have that HTML content handy with you, so that you can use that in your campaign. I have that handy. Give me a second. Yeah. So if you look at it, once I pasted that content here in the preview section, it shows the toddler hoodie. Once you complete this, your template is done. If you want to preview it using any different uh, article, give me a second. You may just want to give a name or ID for that and preview that. You can preview that as well. It is taking a little bit time to render. This is how it may look if you use a different item. So that way you can preview and test out these things. You just need to save it. After it is saved, you just need to publish it for the emails. And that's it. That's how you create the template real quick. Now that the template is created, we need to create a campaign to use that template, right? So we'll go to campaign. I'll use a similar name to this one. I'll just copy the name. And this campaign is for the recommendation, product recommendations within your email. So you click on new. Here you'll give the name. It is again demo. Let's say I want to define two blocks here. So my first block would be a hero block. I'll select the content type, which is a promotional email, and I'll select a dynamic promotion type, which I'll be using on this email promotion template. I want to add another block here. And what I want to do with that block is maybe make, I want to do a product recommendations. And sorry, it's not, again demo. I'll select the content type as products. Now here I need to select the template which I just created. If you look at it, I'll select the demo template here, and I can change the block size as if I want to, which let's try it out because it helps me now. Earlier you were seeing only two images in this block, so once I do it 700, so 300 pixel, you see entire block here. I want to keep number of items as 3 in a single row. If you want, you can use your own block CSS for this particular block. And there's a way ADMC to query data, but usually we use Einstein to power our recipe. So I'm going to use this recipe, and I hope, yeah, that's it. That's how I'm going to save it. and I can publish and generate this HTML. And this HTML can be used in your existing marketing templates to send out the communication. You must have noticed one, and I'll just explain. Maybe let's go to this, then it will become more clear. Now I've already created a template for this NTO. I'll be creating a new email using this template, and how those couple of HTML blocks are leveraged in that email address. Let's quickly do that. So I'll use this existing NTO template which I created to define my email. Select maybe NP, NPO email. Go next. Now here you want to use those blocks. So first let's select this HTML block and copy this HTML and paste it. Here you look at this user ID field. So we may want to change it with a personalization attribute according to your marketing system. Here I'll be using email address in Marketing Cloud. So I'll just copy this with it, and I'm done editing this. Maybe I want to grade of Similarly, I can create different blocks. So I may want to create a text block saying you may like this, and I may want to drop my other HTML block, the third one here. I'll just copy it from here and paste it. Done editing. I go to next. I try to preview my email. Now you see that this image is rendered, but I did not get anything after this UV like this. And that's something, we have to manually keep updating, because what we did is we never replaced this user ID here with that email address attribute. Let me do that real quick. And you have to replace all the occurrences here for that user ID. Wherever you'll miss it, you'll not get those items rendered in your email. Now you can see that this shows items based on my latest browsing activities, whatever I did in last hour or two. So this is how we can create and use those open time emails here. One neat trick, if you look at it, right now we have to replace these manually, these user IDs. So for that, what you can do is you can just go to settings, general setup, level gauge, under advanced options. You just may want to replace your personalization tag here itself. So once you do that and save it, save, yeah, it is saved. Once you do that and save and come back to this, your campaign, it should show you that email address automatically appended rather than that user ID thing. So this is one neat trick you may want to use if your content is big. So that covers open time email, and marketers have very powerful tool. They just need to set up a couple of snippets there and use those in marketing emails, and then those emails can be sent to your audience right from here. And when they open it, they all will see different kind of recommendations based on their activities on the website. With that, let's move back to our presentation. I'll quickly touch upon reporting. So, we have very powerful analytical capabilities on reporting within Interaction Studio. And before that, we just want to understand that what kind of user data is captured in Interaction Studio. So there are three types of user data when a visitor comes to your website. This is contextual data, which is captured when a user or a visitor lands on your website based on their IP. That data could be geographic, that could be related to device types, etc. Then the second one is implicit data, which is captured when a visitor moves around your website through certain pages. The examples could be page viewed or clicks. And then the third type of data is user provided, and that data is called explicit data. And that could be, when a user is or a visitor is filling out a survey, or some purchase they are making on their on the website. Based on that, whatever data is captured is supplied by the user or visitor explicitly. So that is explicit data. I'll quickly show you a couple of reports which I find useful. But before that, I want to talk about two more things which can come handy while we use those reports. Those are goals and filters. So these two can be used in reports to filter those reports out, to give you more analytical capabilities, or make more sense out of your data to power your campaigns. So first we'll talk about goals. There are two types of goals which can be defined in Interaction Studio. First one can be the global goal, and the second one can be the campaign level goal. Global goal is a goal you define on the website irrespective of the campaigns or pages a visitor is on. A good example of a global goal could be that, you want to capture email address of a customer on multiple pages, and you want to track how you're performing on that. Then the good example of a local goal could be that you define a getting started video on your website, on your home page. So that could be a good example. One thing we need to be aware of while creating goals and filters, that these can be created by using existing segments which we covered in our previous sessions. So with that, let's quickly move again to Interaction Studio to go through a couple of reports. The first one is this dashboard. So if you look at it, this dashboard is pretty rich, capturing almost everything. It captures your total revenue or revenue details, or how many orders you did, or what was the average order value, what was the conversion, then how your web campaigns or how your marketing teams well designed web campaigns are performing here. Then what kind of activities were performed on your website, how many campaigns were published, or how many click-throughs were there, what are the top campaigns, all those things. It talks about the visitors details as well, that how many new visitors you have or how many returning visitors you have, what kind of events they performed on your website. But apart from that, there are 2 3 more reports which comes in handy. So this recent visitors just gives you an idea about your recent visitors who are active on a website. Right now nobody is active, but if I become active on this website, this icon turns green here, which indicates that who is online at the moment. Then the second report, Yashish already touched upon that. This is the events team. The capability here is for you to filter it out by user ID to zero in on a particular user's behavior here. Then this action report are actions specifically mapped by our implementation team, like our smart solution architect Aditya would have defined few action which were mapped on the website, like viewing an item, and it gives a good handy detail around that how much of that was spent on a particular action, how much time was spent on a particular action, whether it was on view item or home page or any unmapped pages. Uh, then this one is very interesting. If you look at the paths report, what it gives you is how a user is navigating on your website from where they entered and where they are going now. So if you look at the entrance actions, you see that 50% of the users entered from home page and then 50% from the unmapped page. And then when I click to home page, it tells me that from home page where did they go. So this report can come in very handy, giving you idea around which pages a customer is, or most of the customers are getting engaged, and you may want to change your campaign strategy to cater to that audience. Like if nobody enters from homepage on your website, it is not a good idea to put some high value campaigns on your homepage. You may want to devise a different strategy. But if a lot of customers are entering to homepage, you may want to put a recommendation section within the homepage, so that when user comes in, they see that recommendation bar right there, and your average order value is increased. So this is how this can come handy. Then maybe a couple other. This one is behavior. It just shows the behavior of your new visitors and returning visitors in terms of how many visits they did, how many engagements they did, you know, whether how many users were logged in or not logged in, and what kind of purchases they did. Apart from that, one interesting report is this technology report. So this report tells you that which technology users are using to access your websites, what kind of browsers they are using, or what kind of operating systems they are using, or device types they are using. So see, in our example, we don't have a lot, not even a single mobile user who is accessing our website. But think about a scenario where you have customers, a lot of customers accessing your website from mobile devices. Then you may want to, create, as a marketer, you may want to create specific experiences for those mobile devices or specific campaigns for those mobile devices. That's how this comes in handy. So these are few reports, and then the last one is referring source, which just tells you that from what was the origin of that visitor which came to your site, whether it was a social media or a search query, or what other items were there. So I'll just quickly show how can you define filters and goal, and then how you use those here. So in order to define those, you have to go to general setup. You have to go to settings and then define it. As I said, you can create these goals or filters from existing segments. So this is how you do it, and how we can use it is maybe here itself I can use this one. Doesn't give me a good data. Let me try another report. So maybe in the new visitors, I want to look at, yeah. So on my side, there are returning visitor, or there is a returning visitor who has taken more than 10 actions in last 1 week. So that's how this goal and filter thing can come in handy for you to make more sense out of your data. So I think, yeah, that's all I wanted to show in terms of reporting. Let's quickly move back to a presentation. So Vikas, my presentation is again back on, right?
Yep, Abhishek.
Okay, perfect. So, guys, this is the last piece I want to talk about, and this is very important because this is initial stage in an interaction studio implementation, which can set implementation team up for success or failure. And this is a 1 to 2 week discovery process during which, if you remember our solution architect Aditya, it is his core or primary responsibility to make good use of these discovery sessions in order to set customer and implementation team up for success. So how discovery should be run is, you should make optimal use of discovery sessions, use it, and you can always use discovery implementation checklist or discovery deck template provided by Salesforce. So you can get that glimpse of it here in this screenshot. And what is nice about discovery implementation checklist is it gives you a list of questions per section which you can ask your customers for whom you are implementing the interaction studio. This contains the solution design and architecture section, but there are a lot of sections which almost every section there are few questions which are relevant and you can ask during the discovery process. And what you need to do, how you need to do it, is in order to get things absolutely correct, you you do that use case brainstorming with your customers and figure out the critical current use cases they want to implement on interaction studio at the moment, but also focus on the future roadmap so that you create a blueprint which scales in future. What kind of typical questions which can come is whether to use a single data set or multiple data set. I specifically put this question because I heard this question in a couple of sessions earlier. Then how to organize different page types, or how do we identify users in different channels, which Yash has just showed. Whether there are any data or channel integrations needed, additional integrations needed, on what basis you may want to write segmentation or power recommendations, and then what are the personalization goals for this entire interaction studio implementation. Based on that, you can have different possible personalization targets, like you may want to target on home page hero banner, or a land on more on landing pages based on the analytics you did on that reporting piece. You can always figure out that where you want to put your personalization targets or content zones. With that, I'll just quickly touch upon this single data set versus multiple data set question. So in order to define whether you need a single data set or multiple data sets, the first question you, Aditya, or you, when you're implementing interaction studio, need to ask to customer is, do they have more than one domain? If the answer is no, then ask them, does their single domain support multiple locales? And if the answer to that is no, then you get a straightforward choice that you need to use a single data set. Now, if the answer to that multiple locales question is yes, then you have to figure out that whether inventories are same across those locales. And what does that mean is, let's take an example of certain brand, maybe Nike or Puma, that they may want to keep inventories different for their US market, APAC market, and Europe market. So if local they want to keep their inventory same across the locales, then there is no problem, you can use single data set. But if they are keeping their inventories separate, then you have to go with multiple data sets, because you don't want to give a bad user experience to your customer. What happens is, let's say they are maintaining their inventories differently across different locales, and you use a single data set. Now, a APAC user, uh, you, the APAC user, for APAC user, the inventory got exhausted, but everything still shows because inventories are there in US. So when an APAC user clicks on a certain product or something, they may not even get that product in stock. So that consideration should be done. And similarly, when the path is yes for more than one domain, then you have to think whether same audience is there across the domains. If answer is no, audience is absolutely different, then you have to use multiple data sets. But if audience is same, then you have to think whether domains are similar in structure. If those domains are similar in structure, then you can use single data set, because it is easier to define those guardrails around single data set, what kind of data you want to consume, in what structure or format you want to consume. But if the answer to that structure thing is no, then you have to use multiple data sets. I hope that gives a good idea around how multiple or single data sets should be leveraged. And the last piece around this discovery process, which we figured out during implementations, is you need to be very much aware of the technical architecture which your customers are using at the moment, because in current scenarios there are a lot of times customers websites or wherever they want to put that personalization process are not even yet ready completely for this interaction studio implementation. So you want to be thorough there, and want to capture everything you can, like what are the content management or asset management systems they are using, what are the keyword or tag management systems are they are using. Sometimes what happens is you power your web pages through, I mean, those web pages are automatically created using certain content management systems. So does a new implementation changes the DOM structure at all? And similarly, you want to be aware of the keyword and tag management system they are using, whether they're using Google Tag Manager or anything else. Similarly, Aditya may want to know about what kind of domains and subdomains he needs to implement on. And upfront, in order to use the best practices, that DOM review and data layer review should happen. So, and the last piece is environment management should be done properly. So for testing out things, we use a different environment, we call it development sandbox. And then while you go live, you may never want to use that, or because you and why it is important to use development sandboxes. If you start doing your implementation directly on production, then your test data will also be there in that production data set, and while you go live, that analytics may not give you a perfect picture, because when you just go live, there's some data which is already there which you used for testing. And the last piece which you need to be aware of is existing release management processes for any development streams which may conflict or run concurrent with your interaction studio implementation, so that while implementing interaction studio, this team which is implementing interaction studio should be very well aware around that release management process and follow that release management process religiously, because in a lot of organizations they strictly follow their release management process. So it is good to know that process upfront. With that, I think, yeah, that was all I had. With that, this is a wrap to our bootcamp. Thank you, guys.